Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime Television. We take a look back at WWE Main Event and Smackdown and continue discussion on the greatest manager of all time. We're also going to go in depth on what CM Punk means without the WWE Championship if that were to happen, and news on radical changes in TNA Wrestling. All this along with the Event Center, Star of the Week, trivia, and details on the Pro Wrestling Report Hall of Fame ceremony. All that starting right here, right now on My 24 Milwaukee. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime Saturday night. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Octavius and Tiberius, the alleged backyard one-time alleged Hall of Fame straight edge knockouts Divas champion.
It's not alleged. You saw the frame. You saw the plaque in my house.
I've not been to your abode.
There is no allegedly anything.
You're allegedly a Hall of Famer, unlike the Hall of Famer we're going to announce tonight. That is a bona fide Hall of Famer.
You saw it.
Enough about you. Let's go to this week's WWE news, ladies and gentlemen. We'll kick it off with looking back at Main Event this past Wednesday night. David Hero, that on the Ion Network. A great show as usual, and this one focused on the main event of Wade Barrett versus Randy Orton. And, Orton versus Antonio Cesaro, rather, in the main event on Main Event. Barrett beat Orton Monday night on Raw.
Randy Orton has been doing a fantastic job of helping these young lions, Cesaro and Wade Barrett, elevating their game, making them bigger stars just by being in the ring with them. And once again, Randy Orton does not disappoint.
Does not disappoint. However, very surprised to see the Shield get involved with that matchup and then the Miz attempt to make the save.
I'm not surprised at all because Orton comes off a big loss to Wade Barrett Monday night, right?
Mm-hmm. Clean. 1, 2, 3. Center of the ring. We talked about that on Primetime Wednesday. It doesn't make sense
for Cesaro to put over Randy Orton after he loses to Barrett, considering Cesaro's a U.S. champ, Barrett's the IC champ. It just would make too much awkward nonsense. So send the Shield down to deliver the beatdown on Randy Orton, which now starts the ball rolling, where it will eventually be Orton, Sheamus, and Ryback against the Shield.
Orton, Sheamus, Ryback, Shield?
Absolutely.
Now, Ryback addressed this past Monday night on Raw the Shield situation, saying basically he's going after them now, so perhaps that leads some credence.
He has no choice, but Punk is busy with Rock.
At least for the next couple of weeks.
Hey, The Rock is not going to be like John Cena and step aside to let Ryback get a title shot. Not at all.
Also on the main event, we saw a great tag team action between the Usos and the Primetime Players. And David Hero, something very interesting has happened as of late with the Primetime Players.
Yeah,
While they've been featured on the JBL and Cole show, we haven't seen them on another show.
I mean, I guess they're probably counting their millions of dollars or something. But yeah, for a tag team that was on the verge of absolute tag team greatness, almost grabbed those bronze pennies, they haven't done a whole lot, have they? They've been stuck in neutral. But so have the Usos, so have the Carlitos. Right now, it's basically just been about Team Hell No and the Rhodes Scholars.
As we talk about Main Event, though, looking at Main Event and looking at the other programming on WWE television, SmackDown, which we'll talk about in a minute, and Raw on Monday nights, the question I think that need be asked is, if you look at the 1 hour of time that we get on Main Event and all that they can fit into that show and the urgency during that show and the fact that you're only investing 60 minutes into that show, the question is, David, does it show the contrast between what a good weekly wrestling episode can be and what an extended 3-hour journey is not?
It's a wrestling show. There's no reason for in-ring promos and nonsense and storyline. It is just 2 matches, 60 minutes, really 48 minutes when it's all said and done. And they're just putting on entertainment.
But they start the show big with the in-ring introduction.
Yeah,
they give us backstory of the match. They tell you about the characters. They introduce it.
And that's huge for developing the younger talent. And that's basically what Main Event has been about. It's been about the younger guys. You don't need a John Cena. You really don't even need Randy Orton. You don't need CM Punk on Main Event.
But you've had them.
They've been there to get people to come and check out the show. oh, I'm going to check it out because they're going to be on there. But right now, Main Event is made up for guys like Rhodes Scholars. It's made up for guys like Dolph Ziggler. Guys that are mid-card about to break through that upper tier.
It's almost like what Sunday Night Heat was and what SmackDown was back when before the brand extension.
Or
These
Shotgun
shows were all
Saturday
extensions
Night.
of each other.
Yes.
They all took a story from one point to another. And SmackDown this past Friday night was not as huge as it was last Friday night. Just last night,
And why?
the main event saw
And why not?
no Rock, no
because
Cody.
there was no Rock, and ADR had just won the World Championship.
How'd you like the Fiesta? A lot of piñatas.
A lot of piñatas. I've been to some piñata parties. That was up there.
Alberto Del Rio, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, teamed up with Sheamus.
You already knew that.
To take on Dolph Ziggler and Big Show. Surprising seeing that team together after the feud of the past.
They haven't had really a feud.
Last year they did.
Not really.
Okay, fine. Anyways,
It
they
was a
lose
hiccup.
that matchup. Del Rio and Sheamus victorious over those two.
What? I mean, Del Rio and Sheamus had a feud. I thought you meant Ziggler and Big Show had a. See, if you would speak a little more clearly,
Yeah, clearly
and I
it's
would
my fault.
understand.
Absolutely.
It wasn't my fault.
You've never done anything wrong.
No.
I'm still surprised that we are, 5 minutes into this show and you haven't said anything negative about CM Punk yet?
There's no reason to
Happened
say
to catch a little bit of
anything.
that show on Wednesday.
That was a hot show Wednesday,
It was a
wasn't
little
it?
hot show, and you still haven't admitted that you hate CM Punk, which everybody out there knows you do. We got a minute left.
I don't hate anybody.
Randy Orton and Hell No team up, and they defeat the team of Wade Barrett and the Rhodes Scholars.
Who got the pin on that? Cody. He's kind of been the weak link for this team, hasn't he?
Caitlyn defeats Oksana and retains their newly won Divas
You know what's going to be
Championship.
interesting about now Caitlyn as the new Divas champion? Who's going to step up? Who's going to be the next Diva? I mean, Eve was so good, so polished, so beautiful, so articulate. There's a huge gap right now where someone needs to step up and take her spot.
The Miz defeats Primo, and Antonio Cesaro gets a win over Kofi Kingston in a non-title matchup. That's this week's WWE Report. If you're looking for information about Raw, you want to go online and check out the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Wednesday night, which is available at pwrshow.com and, of course, on our YouTube channel. What's so funny?
I was going to say there's no ink in your pen, but I got it to work.
Still to come, though, ladies and gentlemen, on the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Television, we are going to be talking. We've got trivia, we've got Star of the Week, we've got the greatest manager of all time conversation in depth on what CM Punk means without the WWE Championship,
And the
big
Event
news
Center.
on TNA's pay-per-view changes, along with the Event Center with the Kaz and our major Hall of Fame announcement. That all still to come here on the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night. What was I reading? Is that what's typed in there? I left that in there. Are we on the right one?
That's what was next.
I know I
That
changed
was
that.
the world's longest
Right,
tease.
because I had to figure out what to say. Because
I'm
I'm like,
like,
we're not previewing TNA.
How do we get all that shit in the show?
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, the insurance company may try to stop you from getting what's fair.
After my car wreck, the insurance company tried to stop me from getting what was fair. I called Gruber Law Offices.
Be careful. Call us right away.
They better be careful. Now I've got Gruber Law Offices.
Call us. Let us get started on your case right now.
They green-lighted my case and got me $100,000.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Call 276-6666.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report. Primetime Saturday night. Damian Nelson sitting here alongside David Hero. And David Hero, it's time to go to this week's Star of the Week.
This week's PWR Star of the Week is the defending TNA World Impact Wrestling Champion, Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy got the big win on Sunday night at Genesis, defeating not only Bobby Roode, but Austin Aries to keep both TNA Impact World Wrestling Heavyweight Championship belts around his shoulders.
Jeff Hardy, a solid choice. Good performance in that matchup this past Sunday on Genesis. And we did give a full review and rundown of Genesis this past Wednesday on the Pro Wrestling Report. Primetime Wednesday night, available online only. I am busy here.
I need a pen. This is driving me
Well, then why don't you reach over and grab it?
I don't want to be rude.
Oh, yeah, clearly you don't want to be rude. You just were born that way. It's time now, ladies and gentlemen, to go back into our special edition that we've been talking about over the last few weeks, which is our countdown to the greatest wrestling manager of all time. And David Hero, this week we're going to take a look at Captain Louis Albano. Captain Lou was known as the manager of champions. He managed several champions, including Ivan Koloff, who ended the 7-year reign of Bruno Sammartino back in 1971. Granted, he was only champion for 3 months.
350.
The Intercontinental Champions of Don
That's
the
a
Rock
lot more
Morocco.
days than 400 something, isn't it?
425
Yes.
days, 6 days, 426 days now. Also managed the Intercontinental Champions of Don the Rock Morocco and Greg the Hammer Valentine. But tag team champions were really what he was known for, in names such as the Valiants, Jimmy and Johnny, Wild Samoans, the Blackjacks, and even the British Bulldogs, David Hero. Now, what makes him different, though, Albano, from what we talked about last week and Jimmy Hart, was Captain Lou started off as a professional wrestler, and many say that those make the best managers because they completely understand every aspect of being in that ring. But what we need to ask ourselves now, since Jimmy Hart has been eliminated, is how does Albano compare to the others remaining on the list, J.J. Dillon and Bobby the Brain Heenan, and is Captain Lou the greatest wrestling manager of all time?
I think Captain Lou very well could be. I think he's a better manager than J.J. Dillon was, because look at all of the greatness he brought. Not only could he talk, he could perform in the ring, and he was the manager of 18 World Tag Team Champions. I mean, the Bulldogs,
just about every tag team he managed for
Samoans.
champions,
And he was in the middle of the Rock and Wrestling connection. He was
Cyndi
in there
Lauper's
with
video.
Piper and Cyndi Lauper and David Wolf. The brawl to settle it all, the war to settle the score. Captain Lou Albano, legend.
A legend, but
I disagree with this. I think I'm calling shenanigans. There's no way sweet Captain Lou should be eliminated from this contest.
did you go to our Facebook page and chime in and
I
submit your
always
vote?
chime in.
Because the fans are making the biggest parts of this decision process.
And you know what? The fans, you dropped the ball.
They didn't have a ball. They had a keyboard and
Well,
a Facebook
they did that
page.
too. Or they used their...
You mean using this new graph search on Facebook?
I know.
What have you asked it?
Nothing. I don't
Captain
ask-
Lou Albano, a great professional wrestler, an iconic being in the business, managed probably more champions than anybody in the history of professional wrestling. But I think one of the reasons maybe he's trailing in the polls is he comes from a day gone by and maybe not
Absolutely.
as familiar with professional wrestling fans as the other two who
Super
remain
Mario,
on the
for
list.
crying out loud. He was Super Mario.
Captain Lou Albano has been eliminated from the list, ladies and gentlemen. He is not going to be deemed the greatest professional wrestling manager of all time, but one of two men will be, either Bobby the Brain Heenan or J.J. Dillon. Going to be some interesting conversations over the course of the next 2 weeks as we count down to the greatest professional wrestling manager of all time. Remember, you can chime in on our Facebook page with your vote for the greatest, facebook.com/PWR show. It's time now to go to who I think is the greatest in any event center on any professional wrestling show on broadcast television where we talk about wrestling. That would be the Kaz in the event center. Kaz, Studio B, take it away.
Thank you, gentlemen. Welcome to the PWR Event Center, brought to you by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. I'm the Kaz here to bring you the news and the latest events coming to the Milwaukee area. It's coming up quick, folks. Great Lakes Championship Wrestling returns to Cedarburg with Twist of Fate. That's tomorrow night. That's featuring WWE and TNA star Matt Hardy and the beautiful Rebby Sky. Get your tickets right now at blizzardbrawl.com for the first Great Lakes Championship Wrestling show after Blizzard Brawl, where tickets start at just $10 and will be available right at the door. We are only 1 month away from Tales from the Ring, the Wrestling Summit. Mean Gene Okerlund, Jim Ross, and Jerry the King Lawler are coming to Milwaukee. Now, that's on Friday, February 22nd at the Northern Lights Theater at Potawatomi Casino. Tickets are on sale right now at Northern Lights Theater box office and Ticketmaster.com. It's one night, 3 legends all on stage. We've hinted at it. It's coming up so quick, folks. Big Sexy Kevin Nash is back again to host Shenanigans at the Concrete Jungle Saturday, April 6th. That's right after the WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony. It's right across the street from the Madison Square Garden. That's right, PWR is hosting a Hall of Fame after party in Manhattan. And more names are going to be announced very soon. Tickets are on sale right now at pwrshow.com, and they're moving fast. That's it for this week's PWR Event Center. I'm the Kaz, and we'll see you at the matches.
Thank you, Kaz. You know, Kaz is coming out to New York. He's booked. He's going to be going to his first WrestleMania since 27 in the ATL.
But tomorrow night in Cedarburg, the Kaz is a special guest ring announcer for Twist of Fate.
Is he?
GLCW, the best in the Midwest, coming to the Circle B in Cedarburg, 5 o'clock bell time, blizzardbrawl.com. Matt Hardy, Rhino, and Rebby Sky.
Tremendous, tremendous event occurring tomorrow night in Cedarburg. And talking about events occurring, ladies and gentlemen, big news broken just last week by TNA President Dixie Carter. TNA Impact Wrestling making substantial changes to their pay-per-view business structure. Basically eliminating all pay-per-view events for the year of 2013 with the exception of 4. This past Sunday night.
That's not necessarily true.
Then let me finish my story here. Remember, broadcast journalist, and I still don't know why you're here. They're going to keep Genesis, which occurred last weekend, obviously. Lockdown coming to the Alamo Dome in the spring. Slammiversary, basically covering summer in June. And then Bound for Glory in October. Now, to the point that David Hero was attempting to interject, they will still present monthly pay-per-view events. However, those will be pre-taped events that are going to be available first on Fridays. They're titled One Night Only. Each one has a theme, X Division theme, a tag team tournament theme, and even a potential hardcore ECW type theme. Several of those were taped this past weekend. Those pay-per-views that are available on the months where there will not be live wrestling pay-per-views will be presented at a much lower rate than those of the actual major events. So what's interesting about this, it's a brilliant move by TNA, and it's really funny because it goes back to 1994, which I think was the last year we had about 4 or 5 pay-per-view events of professional wrestling before the In Your Houses started, and really a model that worked for a number of years until the wrestling companies identified that there was money being left on the table, at least as they saw it. TNA could potentially increase their business substantially and also increase their weekly wrestling product with a longer road ahead to get to those pay-per-view events. David Hero, your thoughts?
They are shaving a ton of expenses by taping 2 or 3 pay-per-views in a weekend as opposed to going live every month. Brilliant move. It's going to be a challenge at times to keep the pay-per-views fresh when you tape them a month in advance. But I'm interested to see how this is going to go. It can only benefit the bottom line for TNA Impact Wrestling.
Quite frankly, one of the best things to come out of this was the X Division theme one that they taped this past weekend, and the return of who I think is one of the greatest stars in professional wrestling, at least as it pertains to cruiserweights or X Division talents. P.D. Williams, you know, the man with the Canadian Destroyer,
the
back
Canadian Destroyer.
and part of that pay-per-view event, a person who's been missing from TNA for quite some time. This is a very smart move from TNA Impact Wrestling. Focus on the majors, and that's what they're doing. They're focusing on the majors. The 5,000 to 10,000 people that were buying their monthly pay-per-views that weren't special will probably be the same people who are buying those major pay-per-view shows, but at the same time, those who would forego what would be known as a 3-hour Impact, which would occur on Sundays, are probably going to order as well, thus meaning an overall increase in business. Very smart, along with the expense cuts, as you said, too. David Hero from TNA Impact Wrestling. Still to come, though, here on the Pro Wrestling Report, we're going to have this week's trivia and the 3 count. I'm sorry, actually, no, we're replacing the 3 count this week.
We are?
We're going to do in-depth. I want to talk more about CM Punk because you started a crap
CM
storm
Punk.
on Wednesday's edition of Primetime. So we're going to do that. But that is still to come here on the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night, in addition to that big, major Hall of Fame event announcement in New York City. We'll be right back.
The biggest party during WrestleMania weekend is coming to Manhattan. PWR presents Shenanigans in the Concrete Jungle, hosted by Big Sexy Kevin Nash on Saturday, April 6th. The party starts right after the WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony, just steps away from Madison Square Garden. VIP tickets include free drinks and more and are only available in limited quantities. Get your tickets now for this tremendous Hall of Fame after party right across the street from Madison Square Garden. Shenanigans in the Concrete Jungle, the only place to be after the WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony, high above Manhattan in the historic Hotel Pennsylvania. It will be epic.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report. Primetime Saturday night. Damian Nelson sitting here alongside David Hero. And David, you just saw that spot, Shenanigans in the Concrete Jungle, coming to New York on Saturday, April 6th. We're pleased to announce that we've added a live band that's going to be performing and providing the entertainment that
The Shenanigans Band?
Actually, the band is called the Delaney's, and you can hear a little bit of the music now. And they will be performing as part of your entertainment pleasure on that night, which is hosted overall by Big Sexy Kevin Nash. Huge event, Saturday night, 10 o'clock p.m. to 2 a.m. VIP tickets available.
Well, it may go longer than 2 a.m. I mean, it's Kevin Nash we're talking about.
And
you, for goodness sake. When have you ever been to bed before 5 in the morning?
well, keep the show running, rarely. But huge night in New York as part of Wrestlemania weekend. And keep in mind, that is just across the street from Madison Square Garden. But David Hero, big announcement this past Monday at PWRshow.com, the launching of the Pro Wrestling Report Hall of Fame. You know, for the last 4 years, we've inducted a name into the I guess, somewhat of
the
a
honors.
virtual Hall of Fame.
Yes.
But we've done that as part of the honors episode and as part of Blizzard Brawl, starting with Bobby the Brain Heenan, then followed by Demolition, then Mean Gene Okerlund and Big Sexy Kevin Nash. 4 huge names, 4 huge legends in the professional wrestling business, all already receiving Lifetime
Now we're
Achievement
taking
Awards
it to WrestleMania.
from the Pro Wrestling Report. And now, as part of the biggest weekend in professional wrestling, in Manhattan, Times Square, New York City, Hotel Pennsylvania, in the ballroom, site of PWR headquarters for the week. And we'll be inducting our very first actual induction into the PWR Hall of Fame, King Kong Bundy. King Kong Bundy, ladies and gentlemen, has accepted our offer to be a part of the Pro Wrestling Report Hall of Fame. That occurring Friday night, 10 o'clock p.m. Is when the party starts, if you will. The actual ceremony at 11 o'clock p.m. Plenty of time to get from access to Times Square to be a part of it. Tickets are available now. A very limited number of tickets we're going to have available for this Hall of Fame ceremony, and it is a big deal. And by the way, King Kong Bundy is not alone, ladies and gentlemen. Over the course of the next several weeks, we'll be announcing more inductees and the inductors of that Hall of Fame ceremony. It is a big deal, and quite frankly, it is about respect. No politics, no anything else. It's simply about respect, and not a better person than King Kong Bundy to be the first inductee who we will show respect for in New York.
It's going to be a great night. #5 will be trending all around the world. King Kong Bundy. It's his only Hall of Fame appearance.
It's his only appearance all weekend.
And he made it very clear Coco Beware is not allowed in the
What about Drew Carey?
No, Drew Carey.
Great guy, by the way, Drew Carey.
Yeah, that's the Kaz's uncle. I had no idea.
Hall of Fame ceremony followed by Shenanigans party Friday and Saturday, New York City, Times Square. All the details and information at pwrshow.com.
Wait. Friday night is Hall of Fame with Bundy. Then we got Big Sexy on Saturday night.
And
WrestleMania is on Sunday.
Sweet and sexy. Got our own section of MetLife Stadium, does the Pro Wrestling Report. It's going to be fun. But let's go to this week's trivia question, ladies and gentlemen. And again, David Hero, after the show, I need to have a serious conversation with you as to the whereabouts of Rachel Robertson. Because this is now 2 weeks that she has not appeared here on set.
She's not pleased with you right
Last week's question, though, ladies and gentlemen, the third episode of WWE Raw in 1993 featured an epic retirement match between which two WWE legends? That was on one of the very first episodes of WWE Raw. The answer, and the winner that you see on screen, got this right and sent it to us first. It was Ric Flair and Mr. Perfect. Actually, Ric Flair's departure from WWE occurring after that matchup.
What a great match that was.
It was.
Those two guys could have a match anywhere and it would be tremendous.
Well, this week's question, though, ladies and gentlemen, is at what event did Vader debut for WWE? This event occurred in 1996. If you know the answer, be sure you're the first to email it to us. So do it right now. Send it to us at trivia@pwrshow.com, and you could win a WWE DVD. That's this week's trivia, and it's time now to go in depth. And David Hero, we have been talking about this person who is a person of interest, a person of great discussion across the wrestling world. His name is CM Punk. He is the current WWE champion, and chances are very likely that his 426-day, 430, however many days it will be by next Sunday's Royal Rumble day streak will end at the hands of The Rock at the Royal Rumble. So the question that we will ask in this week's in-depth segment is, what does CM Punk mean? What is CM Punk? Where is he left, if not with the WWE Championship belt that has become a fixture with him for the last well over 1 year's time? What does CM Punk do? What does he become without that championship belt?
Well, right now, CM Punk is a brand. He's a huge brand on Monday Night Raw. He sells a ton of T-shirts, action figures, sweatshirts, hats, sweatbands, whatever. So it makes a lot of money for the company.
And hoodies.
Without that belt, CM Punk will become whiny, crybaby, annoying, just abso-freaking-lutely ridiculous.
Probably sound familiar.
Yes. The Miz. That's how The Miz was after he lost his belt. CM Punk is going to go to obnoxious mode, annoying mode. And that's what he's going to have to do, because without the belt, not only is he going to lose 20 pounds, but he's going to lose about 20 pegs on Monday Night Raw. Other guys are going to start to jump over him. He needs to be annoying. He needs to be condescending. He needs to be arrogant. He needs to be pompous. Why me? He needs to do the Nancy Kerrigan, why me, just to stay in the game with John Cena and The Rock.
You've said that belts are no more than props in professional wrestling.
Absolutely.
A statement I don't completely disagree with. You've said reigns don't matter. You said it as late as this past Wednesday.
Now, Roman Reigns, he matters. He's a hell of a hand in that Shield gimmick.
We talked about the rumors of Punk versus Taker at WrestleMania, which you completely disagree with.
Don't like it. I'm saying right now, I hope Punk can win in the main event at WrestleMania.
What about Sunday's Royal Rumble?
He can't. No.
Next Sunday.
No. Drop it to Rock, and then beat The Rock and John Cena in a three-way at WrestleMania.
What about Elimination Chamber? There's a little road bump between here and WrestleMania.
You know what? The Elimination Chamber doesn't mean anything anymore because it's right in the middle.
It has meant a lot in the past.
No, in the past, what did it mean last year? Nothing.
All right, so you say CM Punk with the WWE Championship. Is he better or worse with it or without it? I think that's four questions.
He'll be a better character without it.
Really?
Absolutely.
Chasing after it.
Yes.
Even though the person he would have to chase after
because here's
to get
why.
it back.
He'll become more aggressive. He'll become more conniving. He'll become more deceitful. He'll become a better heel without. Because he's like Gollum with the ring. Lord of the Ring, Hobbit. All he wants is that ring. That's his precious. Yes. They got the similar hairstyle and looking thing going. I could see it.
You are.
It's character development.
I just don't understand where you hide your shovel and where you hide your spoon and how you walk around with all that metal on you every day.
I just don't understand the appeal. That's all that it is. I don't get it.
You can keep trying to use my line all you want, but you will not sit here and actually admit the truth about your feelings.
I never talk
about the wrestler, CM Punk.
My personal feelings are my personal feelings.
No, I just said about the wrestler, CM Punk.
No, he's a hell of a hand. I think he's going to be a great heel. I think he's going to be like Gollum chasing after the ring.
That's it. We don't have time. Ain't nobody done. That is this week's edition of Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime Saturday night. We'll see you again for Primetime Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen.
Really?
This will be our online-only edition of the Pro Wrestling Report. Primetime tomorrow night, Circle B, Matt Hardy, Rebby Sky, Big GLCW show.
And Rhino, yes, BlizzardBrawl.com.
Also at the door tomorrow night.
Yeah, Linda Kay's going to be there. You're not coming, are you?
I am otherwise detained. I'll be in New York City, actually, for a series
5
of
o'clock bell time. There's no Packers on. No reason not to be there.
Thank you so much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next week right here on the Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime Saturday night.